This program brought to you by Brewski's Bar and Grill, located in Utica, Minnesota. Your one-stop shop for delicious burgers, fries, pizzas, and more.
Welcome to Sports Back Talk, everybody, with Boley and Ringer. And while we took a little hiatus, I
2 weeks off.
I never asked you why we had to take last week off. You just said we're not doing the show. What's the deal?
Most of the time when Bully can't make it, there's something that I have to do with the family.
Yeah.
I mean, it ain't like I got anything else in my life that's important.
Well, wait a minute now. We got like 100 hockey games to get done this winter.
Yep.
Isn't that important?
It is, and it was. We didn't have a game that night, and frankly, I also mentioned to my wife after the fact, I said, doing this thing is good, but we really didn't have any material to share anyways.
Yeah.
And if we don't have any material to share, we are cheating our audience.
We are cheating.
Like tonight, we are cheating our audience because we really have no material.
Well, I'm gonna start with something that we didn't discuss as we prepared. We just got done doing a Lakers hockey game.
Yeah.
And so we just came right off the radio, and we come right here to come to work. I'm gonna ask you about Kyler Murray,
Okay.
Oklahoma quarterback,
Yeah.
who basically said, "I am all in for football."
Interesting.
He figures if he gets drafted in the first round, he's probably guaranteed between 12 and 16 million after he had signed a signing bonus with the A's for what, 4 million, I think.
Which I would think, doesn't he have to give that back?
He's got to give back all but $200,000 of it, it said.
Okay.
So basically, he had $200,000 kind of sitting in his pocket maybe last fall.
Well, did he have the $5 million sitting in the bank collecting interest?
Yeah, that's a
So that $5 million, it could turn into about $500,000 right there.
So we're thinking Deion Sanders.
Mm-hmm.
We're thinking Bo Jackson. Is this kid talented enough? Possibly someday, if he gets his act together, could he possibly do both?
Obviously, he doesn't think he can. He thinks his ticket is football. Maybe
Well,
he's...
is that only because is his agent or somebody sitting there saying, "Look, you get drafted in the first round, we're going to sign a contract, and if you sit on the bench for 3 years, we're going to guarantee $15 million versus your $5 million for baseball, and then once that's over, you can go decide what you want to do."
He can go play baseball when he's 28, 29. If football doesn't work out, I'm sure he'll still work out in baseball. He looks like a pretty good natural athlete, so he's not going to lose that. I find it strange because the expectancy and how many years he'll play in baseball is going to far exceed the football, and football injuries can be career and life-threatening, and baseball, you might break a nail once in a while.
Well, unless your name is Miguel Sano or Byron Buxton.
Now you're going to get me going. This is the whole reason for this whole thing.
Well, no, I wasn't.
I think it was.
No.
Let's get Bully riled up.
So here's my thing. Bo was back in the 90s.
Yep.
Neon Deion was back in the 90s.
Yep.
We haven't had really anybody try to do this since.
Tim Tebow a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit. But you haven't seen anybody be able to do it at the upper levels. Were Neon Deion and Bo Jackson just freaks of nature, for lack of a better term? I don't want to offend anybody with that, but they were athletes that of extreme proportions.
Yeah, they were, and the extreme would be Bo Jackson without a doubt. I mean, I think out of the two, he had size and speed. Deion was basically a speed finesse guy, and could hit for singles and bunts and a good outfielder, but Bo could do it all. And if you ever told me Bo Jackson was just more comparable to a Jim Thorpe than any athlete in our era. But it's hard to say. Skylar Murray's, or whatever his name is, Kyler Murray. I don't project him to go in the top 10. I figured him at Miami at about 14, but
that's
things
still
could
about,
change.
That's still about $12 million guaranteed when you sign your contract.
Yeah.
And that you don't have to do long to do the math. That's more than $4 to $5 million.
No, exactly. But $5 million he got from the Oakland A's, but also endorsement money in football is going to be much more than baseball.
Well, he would have to go ride the bus for a few years. I mean, he wasn't going to go. He was a first-round draft pick for the A's, but he was not going directly to the majors by any stretch.
Not.
And he was going to have to go ride the buses and do all that stuff. and now here you can go be big profile first round pick. You're going big time right off the bat.
Yeah, he's going to go Durham Bulls for about 2-3 years, and then hopefully make it to the majors. Again, it's been proven you can't hit the baseball, and you're a high draft pick. Things might not work out for him.
Yeah, very, very interesting. So as long as we got to the baseball and you brought it up, the Twins started spring training. I think the first spring training game is this weekend.
It is the 20. I think it's the 28th.
28th?
I believe so.
Okay.
Don't get me.
Are you excited at all about the baseball season?
The only reason I am is because I know that summer's here.
Yeah.
Other than that, the team doesn't excite me.
Meaning the Twins don't excite you?
Yeah, the Twins don't excite me. They just have never addressed the pitching issues that they have. And again, we're going to have 4 or 5 number 3 and 4 starters, and you can't win in Major League Baseball with that.
They signed Jorge Polanco and, oh heaven's sakes, the kid from Germany.
Kepler.
They just signed him to like 5-year extensions.
Yeah.
That to me told us that we're happy winning 86 games a year.
Yeah.
We're not ready to go to the next level. We're going to be happy with these players.
But both players are good. I have no.
They're good, but
is there anybody down the farm? We got the Royce Lewis kid, our future shortstop,
Yep.
which could move Polanco over to second base in probably a couple of years. But a Kepler move. It just he's probably going to be a 20, 25 home run guy every year, 80 RBIs. He'll fit nicely into that 5 or 6 spot. And then hopefully Buxton and Sano will develop. I mean, Rosario, we're going to be able to hit the ball. It's just, can we prevent the other team from scoring?
So I'll keep prodding, man. I'll keep asking. Do Buxton and Sano get over the hump this season, or do the Twins have to give up on them and send them to another team where if they go all David Ortiz, they'll become all world?
It's a good question. It's a fair question. I just don't see either of them getting over the hump, because they are going to continually get curved balls, and other teams won't worry about them. Because Buxton, I can understand not being able to hit a curveball like he can't, but his eyes aren't very good as far as seeing whether it's a curveball and seeing whether it's a striker ball. Because if teams were worried about walking him because of his speed, okay, then they wouldn't throw him as much curveball.
Sure.
But he doesn't have a real good eye. He does swing at a lot of bad pitches, so teams are going to say until he quits swinging at the bad pitches, we're going to keep getting him out.
You would think that as you would grow older,
Yeah.
get more mature, you would understand about patience. I think I have. And
Not me.
that at the plate, he would learn to become a little more patient. Last year we saw him swinging away at things, and then, the whole Miguel and Byron getting sent down, and then Byron not getting called up at the end of the year, and all the rest of that stuff. That was kind of a
Message sent.
the message I hope was sent that, look, we love you. We want you to play at the next level. We think you can play center field for this team for the next 10 years.
Yeah.
But we have to get you to start understanding that you can't go up there and flail away and bat 127 and even 200. We can't have you doing that at the major league level.
No, and we can't have Bobby Grossman being our DH either. How many times was he our DH last year? A singles hitter.
And now we don't have Mauer to put in that spot 57.
Yeah, that's going to be different. I think it was time, though, and that's a good move for Joe. And
would it help if Miguel got moved to first base?
No, because he is pretty athletic over there.
He is?
I don't think so. I think force him to play third, and I think
Should the Twins hire him a caterer, a cook, a chef?
I think they already have.
Have they?
Oh yeah, they're
They've
kind
got
of
somebody living with him?
not sure during the off season, so it's going to be interesting when the non-pitchers and non-catchers show up.
And that
where he's at.
That should be like soon, right?
It should be. When I was living in the cities, I heard about when all that was all the time.
Because March 28th is the opening game, and I know, and I'm not trying to brag here or whatever somebody might think, but my nephew reports, I think, on February 27th
to
the
Baltimore Orioles. Yep.
And so I would guess that the non-pitchers and catchers got to be reporting.
I would say next week.
Like tomorrow.
Yeah, it could be tomorrow. Usually is on a Tuesday, so we'll have to get a hold of a few people and find that out.
We have not done our homework on this, that we're flying by
No,
our
it's
seat of
just,
the pants
that's what I
on this
mean.
one.
We're just flying by the seat of our pants.
So you don't want to make any predictions about the baseball season as far as like the Boston Red Sox or
No,
you don't want to go out there because you got to
It's a
wait
future show. I mean,
it's a future show.
We don't want to insult future shows. If we're going to go down in a handbasket tonight, it's not going to be because
Because of the nature of the baseball
we're not going to. If we're going to go down, it's going to be because we're stupid enough to come on and not have any material.
So let's move on. Let's get to something a little nearer and dearer to your heart, like the Minnesota Wild.
Oh boy.
And I told you that we didn't have to discuss this team on this show for the rest of the season as far as I was concerned. The scarier part about that, I just realized, is that my brother has 10 tickets to the 41 home games that they have.
Okay.
And we just bought tickets from him for March 17th to the Islanders game on Sunday, March 17th. And I don't want to talk about this team, so should I be... What am I going there for?
Well, a couple questions.
Yeah.
Brother,
Yep.
bought.
Huh?
Brother
Yeah.
and bought.
He bought the tickets, and I'm getting from him, and he's making me pay for them.
Making you pay for them.
I
Listen,
guess that's
bro.
the deal. My wife took care of the transaction.
Hey, I have a brother, and my brother's my brother. If it was me,
You would charge
Brother
him.
Jer would get them for free. And if it was him that had the tickets, Brother Michael
he's got 'em, he can't
would get
use
them
'em.
for free. So Brother Ringhofer,
Brother Sean.
Brother Sean, is he the one with the kid in the
No,
Baltimore?
he's the one that lives in the Twin Cities.
Okay.
He's the one that has the kid that's playing for the Orioles.
Okay, that.
And he's going to be in Florida watching Luke play baseball, which is why he can't go to the Wild game.
Okay. Do you have a birthday or anything coming
October.
up? Okay.
In October.
Well, it's close enough.
So, in to defend your point, I had the last 3 UND hockey games. I got Saturday night season tickets. I've given all 3 of those away because I've been
free.
busy for free. I haven't asked.
Guessing not this brother.
Not to this brother. So anyway, Sean, Sean, you've been thrown under the bus.
Sean
Your pot liquor.
a hard time because he deserves it.
Yeah. So the Wild, horribly disappointing.
Wow.
Last 3-4 games.
And I'm going to defend it a little bit.
You're going to defend.
I am.
The Wild.
Yeah. I was listening to Jessie Pierce, our good friend, who's been on our show, and she brought up a point about St. Louis winning 10 straight, and I mentioned right after that, I said 1 month ago, the St. Louis Blues couldn't win a game for their lives.
Yeah.
They lost like 14 of 16 games. The whole city was down. The coaching staff got fired. There was all kinds of turmoil. They made a couple moves.
Fired?
Mike Yell got fired. Remember that?
Where was I?
Then Berube came in, and they didn't win right away again, and they were struggling. And now
We didn't discuss. We did not discuss this on this show that Yo got fired like a month ago. I missed this, and we didn't.
You didn't know Yell was fired?
I did not even know Yo was fired. No.
And you call yourself part of Sports Back Talk with Bully?
I'm wondering.
I might just call it Sports Back Talk with Bully and the other guy.
How did you let this get by me? What?
Obviously now on purpose, it's kind of good material because you are right on live national, not just local, national TV.
Wait a minute, you keep talking.
Yeah, but anyways, this St. Louis Blues team was dismal. They were in trouble. They were going to blow things up. They were going to start doing what the Wild are talking about doing and starting trading players. They've won like 15 of their last 17. They've won 10 in a row. They got 4 straight shutouts, and they just keep winning. So they have peaked. They're going in the right way. Bruce Boudreau looks at it as they're going through their time now. We're going to get ours real soon, and we're going to start winning games like this. So Bruce Boudreau thinks that this team can win 10, 11 in a row. I don't see it, but we shall see. But
he was fired in 2019, it says. And then over here it says 2018. Let me see.
I think he's been fired every year for the past 5 years. Poor guy. And they brought up the Boston Bruins game where Mike Yao was fired here 4 years ago. I remember I was down in the cities. Me and Diana were down there for the Bruins Wild game, and I said to Diana after the game, I said, I think we just watched Mike Yeo coach his last game,
Yeah.
and couldn't have been 2.5 hours later, it came across as him being fired. We were at a pizza place in downtown St. Paul when the news came on board, and Diana didn't care that I was right.
That you were right.
Yeah,
Because
she's used to it.
I was going to say it happens so infrequently that
yeah.
it's just like, wow.
So I think I'm going to go with Yeo, geez, thanks a lot. Boudreau on this because I like Bruce Boudreau. I think he's a great coach. And some people were questioning him on the preparedness of this team, the preparation. He said, oh, they've been prepared. Our penalty kill, we have, and I know they have these meetings, and it's basically all the penalty killers get together and the power plays.
Sure.
I mean, they get together and go over things, and they know exactly what St. Louis is going to do. Unfortunately, this Foligno guy, who it kind of reminds me of Chris Stewart. You know, he's a grinding fourth liner. All of a sudden, he gets a couple goals. The press starts talking about how great he's been, and all of a sudden, he thinks he's a different type of player. He's not. You're basically a role player, fourth liner that's got to go out and hit and play defense. Well, he was the main reason. I mean, there's already two guys defensively in one spot. He goes, joins them, and of course they leave one of the best goal scorers in the NHL, Tarasenko, wide open. Game over. It was only 1-0, but it kind of sent a sign and saying, here we go again. And again, another bad loss for the Wild, not unexpected. Because of the way St. Louis is playing and because of the way the Wild are playing.
So
Yeah.
that brings up the question: are the Wild? We're what now? 7 weeks from the end of the regular season, maybe 8 weeks from the end of the regular season.
Yeah.
Wild playoffs? Yay or nay?
1 week away from the trading deadline. I say nay.
But this morning when I stopped at the radio station, you guys were all over me when I said I don't want to talk about the Wild, and you were telling that was Will. I know.
Yeah, it's the other guy.
It's the other guy.
Not Bully.
Will that possibly-
Bully lets it go. I just and it's not because they are going to make a couple moves, and I don't think they're going to make as many moves as everybody thinks they're going to.
Yeah.
I just see Stahl as an automatic move. I mean, it makes total
so
sense.
something is going to happen.
Because of his age. I mean, he's unrestricted and he's 33, 34 years
Come
old.
right through here, Lois. You go
and he-
right in, walk right through here. Don't fret the issue. We're serious.
I mean, you guys have nothing better to do than to ruin our show. I mean, you guys go right
Lois
ahead.
Fogelberg, future Hall of Famer for the Bronco Athletic Hall of Fame, right through your screen, right there.
So,
1980 volleyball team coming up here, March 30th. Tickets will be available soon.
Anyways.
Shameless promotion.
Anyways, yeah, so where was I?
You were talking about the Wild and them not making the playoffs and the trade deadline coming up.
Okay.
And, yeah. And we were talking about Stahl is gone, and who else is gone?
Stahl, I'm guessing they're going to try to move Pattern. They got 4 or 5 guys just like him at less money, less than $1 million per year. Susie, I watched him.
But you don't like Patterson, so he was going.
I don't like him.
You don't like him at all.
No. I thought he was tougher.
Yeah.
I thought he'd bring some toughness to the team. He hasn't. He actually walks away from it. That's why I kind of want Susie up. Susie, I watched him play for Iowa last night. Believe it or not, Iowa was on NHL Network.
Really?
So I got to watch both him and Belpedio and realize why JT Brown's down in the minors. I mean, he can't compete down there, so that's where he belongs. And so I'm more interested in watching Belpedio. And they got this Warren guy, plays defense, big guy, hits everything. So if they need one guy for one game when they play Calgary coming up and they want to
Yes,
teach
that
the
is coming
code to
back
Mr.
around.
Kachuk about the code and all that.
Yes.
That would be maybe a good guy to bring up. But anyways, I see Stahl Pattern, Coyle getting moved. Paul Fenton's a guy that wants character players, and if he can't read that, not that Coyle, he's a great guy, obviously. He's well liked because he gives back to the kids and community, and that's awesome, okay? But
We're here to win hockey games, brother.
on the ice, he just doesn't do it for anybody, and I'm guessing Paul Fenton does not like his game.
Matt Dumba, I know not being traded, but
No.
where are we? Is he going to be back before the playoffs? Will he be back? No, we're going to
Just
shelf him
put him
till
aside.
next year.
Yep.
Even if we make a run in the cup,
Doesn't matter.
doesn't matter.
Fenton knows, Ringer, this team, and yeah, chip chair and a chance that can happen, okay?
Chip chair and a chance.
Yeah.
Wow.
First time?
First time ever on that one.
So, anyways, he gets that. But the makeup of this team and the how they've been overwhelmed, not just beat, just overwhelmed physically against Winnipeg. And the year before that, who was it? St. Louis.
Yeah.
Just manhandled the Wild. And so he knows the makeup of this team is not going to make a run anyway. So he's going to move some chips, and the chair and the chance is really gone. But, I hope they make the playoffs for because there is a great ticket holding base. I'm hearing lots of comments there too that people are getting called and saying that there's openings for tickets for the Wild season next year. But anyways, I think it's time to just go a whole new direction, and people don't want to hear that. But in order to win a Stanley Cup, they need to change the core of this team.
NHL, anything else going on you want to mention?
Islanders, I've talked about them quite a bit. There's an example of my old coach, Lou Lamoriello, running an NHL team the way an NHL team's supposed to be run. Okay, it isn't all about individual players. John Tavares, bye-bye. Okay, we got Anders Lee, we got Brock Nelson, we got this Stromey, we got, who's the guy, Barzell. They got a lot of pieces there, and they play good team defense, and guess who coaches them? Barry Trotz. Guess who won the Stanley Cup last year? Since when is an NHL it'll happen? Any coach in any professional sport wins a Stanley Cup and does not get invited back to the team.
Pretty scary.
NHL, but Barry Trotz, he knows how to win, knows how to put a team together, and
so you're picking them to beat Tampa Bay in the East to get to the Stanley Cup?
No. It's a mirror, with their roster and being a top 2 team in all the East and maybe the NHL record-wise. That's amazing. They are a threat to. They could play low-scoring games, and a lot of teams like Tampa, Washington, they don't like that. Okay, they want goal scoring, and when they're not getting a lot of goal scoring, well then. That's what happens. But I like the Islanders. I like Tampa. Over in the West, there's something going on in Nashville and Winnipeg, as both are continually losing to lesser opponents, and I don't know what's going on there. St. Louis keeps winning. Dallas, Chicago, Minnesota, they win one, lose one. Avalanche, same thing. So it's going to be kind of fun. It's going to say who wants it the least to get that A spot in the West.
How about Vegas? I haven't looked at the NHL standings. Had they continued, they were hot.
They're struggling lately, but they did beat Smashville last night in Vegas. But before that, they lost 2 blowouts, one to Toronto and another one to Arizona, who's actually also coming up. But Gallant kind of called out his players and told them they were kind of soft, which you never do. As a coach, you got to be careful calling NHL players soft. But yeah, Vegas is kind of a little bit up and down right now too. But the 2 surprising ones, Winnipeg and Nashville, I think they're good enough to figure it out. And there could be big trades coming with Duchesne and Mark Stone of Ottawa. I heard Winnipeg's going to maybe go after one, if not both of them, which would be good for Stahl in Minnesota, because if Duchesne and Mark Stone go off, that's going to help Stahl come up a little bit in the eyes of some other teams. I see Stahl more going east. He's kind of been an East Coast player his whole life. Okay. So. Anyways, what else? Anything else?
NHL-wise, I don't think so. I'm going to ask you, because it's been 2 weeks now, we haven't had a chance to talk about the Alliance. Have you watched the Alliance, the American Alliance of Football?
No, won't do it.
Not going to do it.
No.
Even though Charles Johnson...
What's that? Not going to do it?
Charles Johnson, former Minnesota Viking yesterday, went huge. 5 catches for 160 yards in the game last night.
No.
You're not going to watch it?
No.
You're not going to have
what's the point?
Fantasy?
No. See, it's not going to happen. And you know what? The sad part is, you know darn well, fantasy leagues have already
started. Oh, you bet.
Yeah, for this stuff. It just tells you how I haven't become a sick human being to actually jump into fantasy football and secondary sports.
Huh?
I've kept it together.
You've kept it together. Well, I did watch a little bit of it.
I can't believe it.
And it only, for the novelty of it, because there's no extra point kicks, only 2-point conversions.
And that's good.
And apparently, all I can say is
There's nobody to yell at after the game.
apparently
There's no kickers to blame.
apparently this team cannot. None of these teams in the league can make 2 yards because the 2-point conversion percentage must be about 12%. Because it's 6, 6, and 3. You get to 15, it's like you're
Where do they
winner.
get the ball? At the 1?
They get the ball at the 2, just like they do in the NFL. These teams cannot make a 2-point conversion. It's
Good.
it's awful. It's horrible.
Do they
no
play inside
kickoffs.
of arenas?
No kickoffs. Get the ball at the 25-yard line.
Where do they play?
San Diego and Atlanta were on last night on the NFL
So they play
Network.
in warm city climates?
San Antonio was hosting who yesterday? I watched part of it.
Norfolk?
Orlando. The Orlando Apollos.
Of course. Why wouldn't
Then
they call them the Apollo?
Birmingham Iron, and there's 3 other teams. Utah's got a team,
I bet they
and
do.
2 other teams.
They don't call it like the Utah Jazz.
No, and I can't remember what the name is, but anyway, the American Alliance of or American.
No, I
Alliance of
won't
American
watch it. I
Football.
will not watch it, and it will
Even
not
when it's on the
last.
NFL
It'll
Network
last,
and you're flipping through the channels?
No, because no.
All I can say is last night I was watching the game, 2 guys, and the announcer actually said, "I'm surprised this doesn't happen more." 2 defensive ends were rushing towards the quarterback. They both got kind of past their defensive tackles, and the one went head first into the other one.
Ooh.
And they had to tape. I mean, they had him taped down the whole 9 yards. I didn't hear how he went, but they were like, "I can't believe this doesn't happen more." And I'm like,
And how much
I don't
is he
know if
getting
I've
paid to do that?
the defensive player,
Yeah.
I would guess hardly anything.
30,000, 20,000?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, might not
Phil
ever.
Sims,
might
Phil
not ever
Sims'
walk
son
again.
was quarterbacking I think the San Diego team last night.
Chris,
So yeah,
Chris Sims.
Chris Sims, and so anyway,
Well, isn't what's his name? That goofball that coached at Florida, isn't he coaching somewhere? Spurrier?
Spurrier's in Orlando. Honestly, people trust me. I got a bad knee right now, and
So you're trying to wind me up, and you're laughing?
Steve Spurrier, he's on the sideline yesterday. I turned on the TV. He was walking. It was like one leg was like 6 inches shorter than the other. He could hardly walk. He's like 73 years old. He was the Heisman Trophy winner in '66.
I remember that.
So 52 plus 22 makes him at least 74 years old. The poor man could hardly walk.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it was tough to watch. Anyway, yeah, he still got the visor on. The hair was all pushed up, and he's running around. And of course, they got the coaches mic'd up. You can hear the plays called.
Okay.
You know, blue.
When you heard the plays called, did you kind of have an idea what they were going to do? Really?
Not a clue, because it was all this yak motion and all this other stuff. But anyway, they're trying to jazz it up.
Of course they are.
And so,
Yeah.
having said that, no American Alliance
I do apologize to our audience.
for.
They'll never get that 4.5 minutes back again that you just took out of their lives. That Bully had no interest in.
I can't believe this is football.
No.
This
that
is
was,
professional
That was
football.
the most embarrassing 5 minutes we've ever had on this show.
So when the XFL comes out next year, you're not going to follow that either. He hate me. You're not going to follow he hate me.
Why would they have 3 leagues?
Because there's guys out there that want to make money playing football and try to make it to the NFL, and there's no minor league other than the NCAA. Once you graduate and lose your college eligibility, there's no minor league football other than arena to go get your name back out there.
There's plenty of jobs out there.
There's plenty of jobs.
Most of these kids have college degrees.
But you gotta
Why
go-
would they go beat their heads against each other for $30,000
for a
a
chance
year?
to make the big bucks in the NFL.
Oh, so you're saying this is going to lead them and help them get to the
Get
NFL.
back to the NFL. Or
Now, how many led from the other leagues that things were like this, like the XFL, led them to NFL? I mean, we look at Herschel Walker. That league was totally different. Okay, they were
XFL.
stealing players away is what they were doing. And it basically got a whole bunch of people like Donald Trump went bankrupt because of it, and yeah.
XFL, or excuse me, with Charles Johnson yesterday with former Vikings, he's looking to find a way to get himself somebody to look at him in the NFL and say, we can make.
He had his chance.
He's looking for another
He did
chance.
okay.
Isn't
He
that
played
how-
in the NFL. Okay.
Wants another chance.
How old is he?
Too old. But anyway, let's move on.
Yeah. For our listening audience,
Lloyd is here. He wants to hear us talk about the Minnesota Gophers and their big win over Indiana yesterday.
Lloyd's ignoring us.
Lloyd is not
Ever
ignoring
since you
us.
brought up
He-
the doggone league of football,
Oh yes,
whatever
he's
it's
on his.
called.
He's probably on his phone over there, going, "What the?
Yeah, he's tweeting. He's saying you should listen to these two idiots.
These bozo."
ESP even have the scores.
Yeah, so they beat Indiana. Hoo-hoo.
Well, Indiana beat Michigan State in Michigan State a couple of weeks ago. So, what do you got to say to that, Mr.
Austin
Hater?
P beat Citadel, and we beat Citadel. Does that mean?
We're going to the Final Four, baby. That's what it says.
Yeah. Well, they got to win. What? They got 5 left. They got to win 3 of those 5, or else make a run of the Big Ten championship.
Okay.
It's late this year.
Yeah, things are pushed back a little bit. We're
Why?
all right with that. Well, because they got to make sure that they get the right weekend so that they don't mess up the Masters for you.
I don't think the Masters.
The Masters is late this year. This is late as the Masters
is?
can be because the Masters isn't until like 11, 12, 13, 14.
Okay.
So then they get
Well, the national championship game's like on
on
the
the
8th. Yeah.
April 8th.
Yeah.
Correct.
So that's kind of late, and yeah, I'm probably going to do pretty well in the pools. We're going to get Jay Barkowski on for our NCAA basketball pool show that's coming up.
No, we're not, because you're going to be in Tampa St. Pete that week. The Sunday
Maybe
the Sunday
you
the
and Jay.
bracket comes out, you're going to be in Tampa St. Pete
I am.
in the sun with a beverage in your hand and probably some fake chips or something.
Well, no, there'll be real
So
chips.
he runs the show. You can't do the
Exactly.
show.
Exactly. I ran shows without the ring man.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, come on.
So get George Frake over here, and George handles himself quite well.
So that week I get to call it the Ringer and Bullies in Florida show, or
I'm
what?
guessing there won't be much hockey talked about that
won't
show.
Hey, we can
Well,
put
the
up
indie hockey talks
some
about
photos of what he would look like in a Speedo.
We could do Sky. Oh God, boy, you know I was in a good mood.
Well, just paid not to see that.
Shoot, well, wait, no, don't go there. You know, one insult's enough.
Are we ready for Q&A?
We're ready for Q&A.
Oh,
All right.
he's got a yellow tablet out today.
Jeez.
And that page is full. We're in trouble.
We don't have to answer all these
This
questions.
is a famous boxer.
Famous boxer.
The song was written about him.
There's
There
all
was
Muhammad
a song written about him?
Yep.
Okay.
By a famous artist.
Okay.
Very popular song. And what was the boxer's name? And who wrote the song?
Whew.
I would say Ray Stevens, and it was floats like a butterfly and stings like a bee.
Well, there was a song about Muhammad Ali in the mid-'70s, but it was not by Ray Stevens, and I don't even know who it was exactly by, but I remember it was Catch Me If You Can, something about that, and I'm the Greatest, and all this other stuff. But I got a feeling that's not the song you're talking about, Paul.
I didn't know that part of it, but Reuben Carter, the Hurricane,
Okay?
Bob Dylan.
Is he playing that new football league?
He was a boxer.
He was about...
Next question. Shame on you.
All
All
right.
right.
What's he
It
got?
isn't called Let's Make Bully and Ringer Look Like Idiots. Okay, it's
Well, we can just debate about what the title should be called.
There you go.
why? What's wrong with your son?
All right, so
Remember when he didn't know us and he was nice?
became pro athletes.
What's that?
How many people from this area became pro athletes?
I mean, from this area, the Falls, Fort Francis, or just the
I don't
Falls?
know. I'd be curious.
My number would be, counting football, hockey, 15.
So I know 4 football players: the Nagurskis, Bronco and Bronco
Crotty.
Jr., and Crotty, and
Yuso.
Yuso. Those are the 4 guys that made it and played either in the NFL or the CFL.
NHL, 2 Sheehy's, Sampson, Lefty. That's 4.
Yeah.
Anyone make it to the Olympics?
Oh,
Yeah, Sheehy, Lefty, Huffer.
Lefty, and Huffer all made it
would
in the
count.
72
Yeah, Huffer played
Olympics.
for the Saints.
Yeah.
So I would say 10 to 12.
Okay, so out of those, what is your favorite or you thought did the best in sports?
Which one did the best?
Well,
Or that you appreciated or you really got into or
Okay.
you know, Tim Sheehy just had his jersey retired on Saturday night by Boston College. Timmy, I hope I can call you that, Tim, because we share that name, and I don't get to call myself that. No, seriously, Tim Sheehy not only was a phenomenal hockey player, but he may be a better person. Tim Sheehy is a class act from word one to right to the end. I can't say enough good things. We've inducted him into the Hall of Fame 3 times, Bronco Athletic Hall of Fame 3 times, 2 as a team and 1 as one of the original members that went in the first class. Humble, right down to earth. He grew up here. He loves this place. He does his job, and he, like I said, what he accomplished as a hockey player, good, bad, middle of the road, whatever your opinion on is that, I would go past that, and that he did pretty good. Of course, Bronco Nagurski, senior, NFL Hall of Famer with the Chicago Bears, and the things he did with the University of Minnesota go without saying. I mean, a charter member of the NFL Hall of Fame in 1963.
Bronco would have been Tim Sheehy's uncle.
There you go. So those 2 stand out. Nothing against any of the other guys.
No.
All the guys that I have met out of the ones that Mike said are class guys, and I feel honored to say that I live in International Falls, because I'm not from International Falls, but to say that I live in International Falls, and I've actually had a chance to meet some of these guys, and they are, like I said, as good athletes as they were, they're better people.
Tim Sheehy was, he had his choice. The WHA came on board when he was getting ready to go after the 72 Olympic team. So the Detroit Red Wings drafted him, and then the Hartford Whalers drafted him in the new WHA. And he had probably 3 or 4 40-goal seasons with the Hartford Whalers. So he had a good WHA career. He did play probably a couple hundred games in the NHL, but his career mainly was in the WHA, which at that time was very good. So, great question. I think
there's more than 2 questions written on there. What's the last one you got there?
Well, I'm just going to wing this one.
All right.
Well, you're enjoying the show.
Best way to cook bourbon. I heard that.
Don't.
Don't.
And then a sideball question.
A little. Well, like lobster, I've been told, or it tastes like lobster, and cook it like lobster. Put it in the butter, and
I don't know where you get your
do
lobster
that
from,
So
but
I couldn't.
they call it a poor man's lobster.
I
Garlic and butter, yeah.
I couldn't touch one of them. Sorry.
I'd take lutefisk over that stuff.
And I've never had lutefisk, so I can't.
What about head cheese?
Head cheese, not a chance. No.
Nope.
You take bourbon over head cheese?
No, I wouldn't have any of it.
Okay, just...
Mushrooms or something.
All right, Lloyd, what do you got for us? Gopher baseball team went 1-3 over the weekend while Lloyd's thinking. Lost to Oregon State.
See, Lloyd doesn't even care about that.
They're the defending Big Ten champions.
Twins got potential?
The Twins, we talked a little bit just before you came in. The Twins, do they have potential? Yeah. Can they stick in there with the teams in the Central Division? Yeah, except maybe Cleveland. Can they get enough to be a wild card? I don't think so right now, unless they make a move and bring somebody in, which they can't do or won't do. Yeah. This is going to be another 75 to 80 win season. We'll be there occasionally making a run. Will keep us happy, but when all is said and done, we'll be out of the playoff picture by September 1.
I just don't have the pitching. They'll be kind of a fun team to watch because a lot of 11-10, 10-8 games. So,
The Gopher basketball team, the women's basketball team,
Women's Gopher basketball team.
they're way hot at the beginning
Yep.
and then way bad.
And now they're stepping up. The Big Ten, I don't think women's Big Ten basketball gets the credit because, you see Connecticut and you see
Notre
Ole
Dame.
Miss and South Carolina and Notre Dame sitting out there at the top, Louisville in there, and you start looking at those teams and saying, well, the Big Ten can't compete with those. They're right there. They're making their way. The Big Ten is very competitive. Oregon out west sits in that loop as well. That will come down into the Final Four. Be great to see one of the Big Ten teams make it that far, but boy, I'll tell you, Notre Dame and South Carolina and Louisville and Connecticut, they just got Baylor. Forgot about Baylor.
Yeah, and Wayland's going to bring in high end. Okay, there's a girl coming out of Minnesota here in I think 2 years. She's a sophomore in high school. She's right now the #1 recruit in 2 years.
Out of Hopkins.
And Wayland will probably get her. and that's something Patino's never been able to do. Whalen has the name and then the recognition and the know-how to get these recruits, and she's gonna. I think this program is gonna be a top 10 here in the next 5 years.
Hopkins, I think she was an 8th grader. They played in the state tournament the last couple of years, and as an 8th grader playing big minutes on a 4A school last year was unbelievable in the tournament. And like you said, just a sophomore, and that
should be good.
They need to get her.
They need to get her. Yep. Thing is, with girls basketball, which is good, I guess. There's no one and dones there.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
you get a girl that's really good there for 4 years, it's even going to be better. So, all right.
Anything else?
Don't take us too serious.
Thanks, everybody.
This program brought to you by Brewski's Bar and Grill, located in Utica, Minnesota. Your one-stop shop for delicious burgers, fries, pizzas, and more.